Welcome, friends, to the Everyday Educator. I'm so glad that you have joined us today. We are always here to encourage one another, maybe to inspire one another, and to take this journey of a lifetime together, this journey that is full of joy and sometimes some sticky spots. And so we are here to talk about a lot of things and help one another through the sticky spots. If you are just considering the homeschool journey, or if you are way into the daily delight of family learning, we're glad you're here. And we think you'll take something away from it. Let us know. So, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can leave us a message. If you really like what you hear today, you can pass it on to a friend. We welcome and are always glad to meet new friends. I have with me today a good friend, a friend I am coming to know and appreciate more and more. Emma Bortins is here with me, and we are going to talk today about family traditions. Emma, thank you so much for making time in your busy family life for us.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. And it's the perfect time to talk about family traditions with the holidays coming up.
I know. I'm so excited. Okay, tell people a little bit about who you are and what your family is like right now, because I happen to know that your family's getting ready to change.
Yes. Yeah. So my immediate family, I should say, is me and my husband, William. We have a daughter who is 19 months, and then we have another one on the way, hopefully arriving sometime the first week of May. And then I come from a family of four, my mom and dad and my brother. And then my husband, William, is Lee's third son. He has three other siblings. So she has four boys and they have families. So we have a pretty big extended family. But our immediate family is growing and we're so excited to be a family of four very soon.
Oh, that is so exciting, Emma. We were a family of four too. My husband David and I have two daughters that have started families of their own. And so we are next week getting ready to host Thanksgiving, and the number keeps growing of the people that are coming. So my husband's sister and husband and son and daughter in law are coming, and then our girls and their husbands, and between them, there are three children and another one on the way. But one of my daughter's husbands has a brother, and he and his wife and their three kids are coming. And then her brother is coming, and my other son in law's sister and her boyfriend are coming. We are gathering people along the way. But what I tell you that to say, that is actually one of our family traditions, is that our holiday tables expand and extend, and we end up taking in family and family of family, and then friends who come to feel like family. So we're going to talk about a lot of holiday traditions and maybe a lot of family stuff today. So you guys get ready, and maybe the things that Emma and I share will make you remember holiday traditions from the family you grew up in that you want to pass on to the family that you're part of now. So we're just going to have a good time together. Let me ask you, Emma, about traditions. What do you think is the role of traditions in a family? I know that you and William are just starting your own family, but you grew up with family traditions too.
Right. Well, I think the role of traditions is a very beautiful thing to discuss because traditions really shape a childhood. I know because my mom had a lot of traditions and she was very consistent. So I knew what was happening every year, at least from, what I can remember, like six
Right.
on. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that's really important for a child's development is to have something that they can look forward to every year and it be kind of the same, um, from year on to year on. I like to think that the role of traditions is kept really well by mothers.
You
It can also
know,
be kept well by fathers.
yes.
But I say this because when I first got married to William, traditions are very important to me. I want to keep most of the traditions I had
Yeah.
when I was a child. And I asked him, what are your family traditions? And he was like, I don't think we
Ah,
have any. And I
sugar.
told Lee, do you
Yeah.
have any traditions? And she about fell out of her chair. Of course, they had family traditions, but she, being the mother and the matriarch, I think was the keeper of those
Yeah.
traditions. And so, getting to know her better, I've gotten to know William's childhood better and their family, and how I can incorporate their traditions into our family as well.
Oh, I love that, Emma. I think that you're right. I think that lots of times the dads in the family enjoy the traditions, but they don't think about this was something that my wife or that somebody started doing intentionally and keeps doing. And I like it. And I've always liked it and I'll always like it, but I don't think about it being something that did not spring organically from the calendar, but that somebody had to intentionally plan. I think that's a really astute comment. Um, I I love also what you said that family traditions shape the memories of childhood. 'Cause I think you're right. I look back at at the memories I have, and most of them are built around some tradition, something that, like you said, that I could count on from year to year. And that is so important. I know you are discovering with your little girl that it's really important for children to have things to count on, for there to be some kind of consistency, something that they can look forward to, something they depend on. Um, what I mean, what would you say? How do you think traditions shape a family's culture?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind, I think, are spiritual traditions and spiritual disciplines. One tradition that my family had around Christmas time is doing a daily Advent devotion. And lots of
Yes,
families do this, but
right.
for our family, we would light our Advent wreath and we would sing the song, Come Thou Long Expected Jesus.
Yes.
And I think that's something really unique to our family that we did
Mhm,
every year
mhm.
and brought us closer to Christ as a family. And so I think in that way, spiritual traditions are probably the most important ones to
Mhm.
shape the child's future and their role and understanding of the home and family and God. And then William and I, we have a spiritual tradition of celebrating Easter in the Orthodox Church, which is called Pascha, and we celebrate it at midnight. And so the
Oh,
celebration really starts at like 2 a.m. when the
oh
service is over.
my.
Yeah, with all of the kids too. I mean, it's not exclusive to adults. And so I think about these little spiritual traditions being really important reminders of Christ's life and our role as, mother, father, child
Yeah.
in the family.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I am I think you're wise, and I do think that our children notice. I remember when my girls were young, my husband and I had a tradition, and it stemmed from my childhood of reading the Christmas story out of Luke 2 every Christmas Eve. And usually we did it around the fireplace, and it was many times the last thing we did as children before we went to sleep on Christmas Eve. So we started doing that when our children were, I mean, very little, almost too little to sit still for the story. But we did it every year. And one year, our church had something going on that lasted later into the evening. Um, and for some reason, I I don't know why it got neglected. The Luke 2 reading got neglected at home. And I found out the next year that my daughter had missed it so terribly, that she just felt like it was a break in tradition and it really bothered her. I think she didn't realize how meaningful it was to her.
Mhm.
So I love that, having the traditions that our children cling to um,
Right.
is really
And you can
important.
cling to a lot of, like, fun traditions too, like, when I think of
Yes.
traditions, I don't even know if those are the first ones that pop in my mind, but in
Uh-huh.
terms of, I think, going back to your question about, you know, what role does that play in the family, the first thing that comes to mind as a Christian is those specifically Christian
Yes.
traditions.
Yes.
Um, but I like that you brought up that feeling of neglect, or like what happens if there's a break in tradition,
Right.
because I've been thinking a lot about that. And as a new mom, as a, like a new family, there's going to be a lot of times where traditions aren't upheld, or they're
Right.
broken, or something new has started. And that's been really hard for me to
Uh-huh.
come around to, like, how do I take some of the traditions from my childhood and William's childhood and also create our own without
Yeah.
spinning out of control.
Yes. That brings up a funny question I wanted to ask you. Although I realize at 19 months, your daughter might not, have an we always do mindset yet because she hasn't had enough Christmases. But I know. So who chooses the traditions in your family? The ones you and William are going to start together. Who chooses them?
Yeah, I think that's a joint decision,
Yeah.
you know, between the husband and wife about choosing those traditions. I don't know if I know the ones that we've chosen together have been specifically like spiritual decisions
Yes.
and
Yes.
traditions. In terms of like little fun ones,
Right.
I'm probably going to be the driving force. But I think that's okay, because I
Oh,
plan
absolutely.
taking some of the traditions that I've heard that he did when he was little and maybe bringing those back in some way.
Good. Oh, good for you. That's true. You know what? I was going to say, families, listeners, if you have older children, you have probably discovered that what you did one time, if your children loved it, they now consider that a tradition. One time can be a tradition for something that your kids really love. Because I remember one time when my oldest was about a year old and it was close to Valentine's Day and she was still taking long naps. And I was pregnant with my second daughter. And so I was just kind of looking for something fun to do with her. And so while she was sleeping in her bed, in her crib still, I just cut a bunch of paper hearts out of construction paper that I had around the house. And I went in her room and I put a big heart just right beside the crib and then sprinkled some out the door and then down the hall and then into the living room. And I put her snack on the chair where the heart trail ended. And when she got up, she was so um she was so mesmerized by those hearts. And I said, well, you have to follow the trail to have your good snack. And she thought that was the best. Well, I did not realize it, but she internalized that. And then the next year on Valentine's Day, she said, where's my heart trail? And I was like, oh my word. And so the funny part of that is we started doing it every year. And so they would wake up on Valentine's Day, and beside their bed would be a trail of hearts that would lead them all through the house to find their Valentine gifts from me and their daddy. And when they went to college, of course, we did not live in the same house as them, but they got Valentines in the mail. When they opened the envelope, hearts fell out and then
Aw.
their gift was in there. So, all that to say, sometimes traditions start very unintentionally, but can have a really sweet connection to the past and move into the future. So that was a really fun thing. Your kids may choose some of the traditions that
Fair
you
enough.
that you will end up with. Um, do you have a lot of holiday traditions yet, or traditions that involve things you always do on vacation, or specific ways that you decorate, or specific foods that you eat at certain times of the year? I'm always curious what other families try.
Yeah. Well, the first one that comes to mind is the holiday that's coming up, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I always, from the earliest, tiniest Emma I can remember, woke up and had cinnamon rolls on Thanksgiving morning
Oh,
and would
yum.
watch the Macy Day Parade. Always.
Yes,
Every
yes.
single year. And I remember it was hard for me last year. We were on a vacation, which is a
Oh,
Bortins family tradition
yes.
that we were on. And I woke up on Thanksgiving and I said, I need to go get a cinnamon roll. And I'm pretty sure I found one and I bought it. I didn't watch the Macy Day Parade, but I
Oh,
had my cinnamon roll. And so that made me feel like it was childhood all over again. But
that
that's
is
the first thing that comes to mind.
that is so funny. My family also does the Macy's parade. And the way this is so funny, Emma, when you said that, I can see back all through the years. We, when the girls were little, we did not have cable TV. Yes, I'm that old, or we were that poor. I don't know, but we did not have cable TV, and so we had this antenna. But you had to strategically sit in the room so that so that you would see it through the static. And so everybody had their spaces. And the girls, I'm cooking Thanksgiving dinner and they're supposed to be getting ready for company to come. So a commercial would come and they would race off to straighten their hair or to, finish getting dressed or whatever. And the TV would be all messed up. And when it came back, everybody's yelling, come back, you have to sit down. And so to this day, we still watch the parade. And my deal is I'm cooking this big meal. You are on your own for breakfast. If it's not walking away from you and you can eat it by yourself, I'm good. You can eat it. Can eat anything that I have for lunch, but you can eat anything else. And they still watch the parade.
Oh,
And it's just a sweet tradition. I remember that I did really well when my oldest went to college because I'd been talking to myself sternly. And um, so that was not a problem. When she got married, the first year she was not home for Thanksgiving, I thought I was great until the parade came on. And
oh,
then because it was such a family tradition, and that's what I was going to say. Traditions are not just things you do every year. They
right,
are memories that have knit your hearts together with your family. It is just a sweet thing. And they can be silly traditions like cinnamon rolls and the Macy's parade, or serious traditions like reading Luke 2 on Christmas Eve. All it takes for a tradition is for it to be something that ties your family or your group of friends together.
right. Yeah, and I was thinking about that as well. What's the difference between a tradition and like a routine or an
Yes.
annual discipline? And I think traditions, not only are they passed from generation to generation, but they have that element of family togetherness, a way for people to bond and come
Yeah.
together and experience a shared moment. And so I think that's what sets traditions apart of something that you do routinely.
Hey everyone, we want to interrupt this show to tell you more about this semester's sponsor, Judson College. Judson College is an amazing fit for a CC student because they really do focus in on our three uniques: classical, Christian, and community. Listen to their mission statement. They say, equipping students to give their lives for the cause of Christ in the church, among the nations, and in every aspect of society. Let me tell you a little bit about what they mean when they say every aspect of society. I know sometimes we think of a Christian college and we think, okay, you're just teaching me to go into vocational ministry. Well, guess what? We spoke with a representative from Judson College, and he shared with us that it's more than just official ministry. They believe that every believer is equipped and needs to be equipped for ministry wherever their feet land. So, whether that means the marketplace or someone's church. Judson College has a wide variety of degrees for students to choose from, including 25 majors as well as 5 years bachelor's to master's programs. And each of these programs are taught by exceptional faculty who are experts in their field and passionate about investing in the lives of their students. They want their students to leave equipped theologically and professionally for whatever career God wants them to pursue. To find out more about what Judson College has to offer, visit judsoncollege.com/distinctives. And again, thank you to Judson College for sponsoring this semester of the Everyday Educator. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think a tradition is a routine, something that you do routinely that brings you together, but that you have infused meaning into this. I mean, there's really not a lot of meaning in paper hearts made out of construction paper.
Right.
But when it's something that leads you from your sweet slumber spot to a gift that somebody who loves you has chosen for you, then there's meaning in that tradition that goes beyond. It is mom and daddy care about me. They were thinking about me even when I was asleep. They have planned for my pleasure. Those are sweet meanings there. What are some of the other holiday traditions that you and William have?
I'm trying to think. So I talked about the Easter one, and I was
Yep.
actually asking him a couple of days ago because I feel like we don't have any traditions yet because it hasn't been. And
Oh yeah.
for perspective, we've only been
Right.
married 2.5 years, not even
Yeah.
3 years yet. So that doesn't give us a lot of time. But one that we have done consistently is we have taken just a family, me and him, me and our daughter. We've gone to Miami every year
Oh.
for just like I think 2 days,
Yep.
maybe 3, but he has college friends that are on the West Coast that visit
Uh-huh.
Miami once a year, and so we try to see them, because otherwise we really wouldn't have an opportunity to go
Yeah.
way out there, and so that's been a sweet tradition that we've shared, and also we love the beaches and the city and the food,
Yes.
and so that's fun because vacations can be, traditional as well. And
Uh-huh.
we don't have a ton of time and resources to go away for weeks and weeks to like the Bahamas, but
Absolutely.
Miami is just a quick 4-hour drive. And so it's a
Well,
nice
that's
little getaway.
great. That's great. That's great. I know um, some of our traditions are really old. My husband and I, okay, this is making me feel really old, Emma. Um, my husband and I next August will celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. And so we have been concocting traditions for a long time. And like you said with you and William, there's some traditions that came with me from my birth family and some that came with him from his family. But we've had a lot of time to um, make up our own traditions. And one of the traditions that I think is probably the oldest Christmas tradition that we have. My husband's a pastor, and he has always been concerned, even before we had kids, that people were forgetting in all of the hubbub and the silver bells and the Christmas trees and the Santa stockings, people were forgetting the greatest gift, that we celebrate the Lord Jesus coming, and that we forget in the sweet story of the manger the huge sacrifice of the cross.
Mhm.
And so he said one Christmas, we had been married just 2 years, so it started in 1988. He said, I want to make a cross. I want it to be part of our family Christmas celebration that the last gift opened on Christmas morning is a cross that
Oh.
one of us has made. And I said, well, that's cool. Okay. And so he made the first one. He's a woodworker, but we didn't have a workshop. We had just been married a few years. He didn't have a lot of tools, but he made a little wooden cross and put the date on it. And it was the last gift. And he let me open it. So whoever makes the cross gets to choose who opens it. And so for years we went back and forth. And the crosses are not always made out of wood. They are made out of different things. We've got friendly plastic crosses, which tells you that I'm old. In the 90s, there was a friendly plastic crafting craze. We have some that are made out of Chrismon beads and some that are made out of Play-Doh, some that are made out. The first year that my younger daughter learned to knit from her grandmother, she knitted the cross. So every year it's somebody else's turn. and they make the cross in secret out of whatever they want. And many times it has something to do with something that the Lord has taught them through the year, or an experience that has um, profoundly affected them during the year. And they make it in secret, and they wrap it up in secret, and they put it under the tree. And then on Christmas morning, it's the last gift. Um, and so you can know we have like 37, and this year will be 38 crosses made by every member of the family. I remember the first year when Stephanie was too little to do it herself. So she had a helper. They had helpers the first years that they did it. We had gone to the beach and had collected a bunch of seashells. And so we had a cross made out of really stiff cardboard that she glued seashells to.
Oh.
It was just, and it's such a dear tradition, and people have come. My husband has now had to make display boxes for them because it's too many to fit on the top of a table. We've got friends who come to our open house every Christmas and want to know, okay, where was last year's cross? Because they weren't there on Christmas morning. So they keep track. But it has become such a symbol for our family. And we have expanded it. We allowed the sons-in-law to get in on it, but we capped it. So so we won't extend it to the grandchildren, or who knows, it may never be your turn again. But it's been really meaningful. We have the year that my husband learned to play the guitar. He made them out of a cross out of guitar strings. And the year that I lost both of my parents in the same year, I have pressed flowers from their service in there. And so there are dear mementos of what the Lord has brought us through and what he's shown us. And so that's one of our family's favorite traditions that has a lot of meaning. What are some things that your sweet little girl likes to do? Are there things that she loves to do that you will try to incorporate into your holiday plans?
Well, she loves being outside.
Oh,
as
that's great.
Most children do. So I will definitely try to spend lots of time outdoors during the holidays. We did that growing up anyways.
Yes.
Turkey trots and
Yes.
going outside
That's
and playing in the
great.
snow, or going to the beach if you live in Florida.
Yes.
But spending time outdoors is always a good thing to do. I think I'll see what sort of things she likes to do that are,
Yeah.
kind of would be traditions.
All
I
right.
think it's still too early, but while it is early, I'm going to try to do some of the things that William grew up doing and I grew up doing, like trying to think of some holiday ones. I'll just share a little bit about Lee's family traditions
Yes.
and my mom's. So a couple holiday ones is Lee has these plates, holiday plates. And if you're listening to this, Lee, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of them, but they're quite lovely and they have a picture on them and every plate is different. Some have like words
wow.
around them. And everybody for Christmas meal, I think she does it Christmas Eve. That's what I remember. Yeah. The meal at Christmas, everybody has to go around and tell a story about their plate.
Oh my, what a great one.
Yeah, or just read the words or whatever
Right.
you can do revolving around the plate you have. And I thought that was very cute tradition that William didn't tell me when we got married that he did.
Oh,
They
he
do.
probably had done it so often, he just took it for granted. And I guess it's really interesting because you can't be sure that you'll get the same plate every year.
Exactly.
So
And as
you
a
have-
storyteller, I was thrilled when I
Yes.
was like, how am I going to make this the coolest story ever? But
Yes.
that was fun. And then another little fun holiday thing that my mom did or does on Thanksgiving is, in addition to hosting, making the meal,
Yes.
supplying the roof and
Yes.
everything, she goes around with an ad lib and she's always randomly asking people, name an animal, what's your
Right.
favorite season? And so at the end of the Thanksgiving meal, he reads a Thanksgiving ad lib, and it's hilarious. Um, Love to hear
Uh,
what everybody has to input on that. So those are two little fun holiday traditions that both families have that I would like to do in our family.
yes.
It'd be fun.
Okay, so that has given me some ideas. I don't have a set of Lee Christmas plates where all the pictures are different, but I would love that. I'm scheming about what could I do. Maybe I could put pictures as place cards at the table. That might work. I love listening to other people's traditions because I like to filch them. The ones that I think would really bless our family or would be something fun to try. I love to add that. And I like the Mad Libs that your mom does. Those are really funny. Uh,
Well, I think children love stories. And so
yes.
anything that revolves around a story, like even the cross tradition for you guys, each year holds a story. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
listening to an ad lib that's just a funny, silly story that everybody contributed to, or making up a story about a picture that's in front of you. I think
Yes.
all of those are really good traditions for kids of all ages because they just love stories. I know my daughter loves stories. That puts
They
me to
do. My girls always love stories, and so much of a family's culture, of a family's history and their shared memories revolve around stories, things that happened to them that everybody was a part of. I know when my girls got married and they started bringing their fiancés and their husbands home to decorate the Christmas tree with us. Both of the guys were shocked. They're like, it takes your family how long to decorate the tree? I mean, like a long time, like more than 2 hours. And they're like, how could it possibly take that long? And they're like, well, you'll see. Because every ornament, we collect Christmas ornaments when we go on vacation or when there's a momentous happening in our lives. And so you unwrap every ornament and there's the story that goes with it that has to be recited or rehearsed or retold again. But the coolest thing is it helped the boys get to know our family in a brand new way, to hear all the stories of every ornament or which ornament this sister always hangs and which two ornaments
Mhm.
always have to be close to each other. You're right, Emma. Story is very powerful. And I think that's where traditions are very powerful because they become the story of our family's life.
Right.
Well, this is my last question for you. And it might be something for you to think about as much as it is for you to answer right now. Um, and I'm sure that actually that you and William talked about this when you were waiting for your sweet children to be born. What do you hope that your children remember most about your family? Maybe a family tradition will play into that, but what is it that you want your family traditions to tell about your family that your children will hold on to?
Mm. Well, I'll speak for William first because I asked him that question.
Awesome.
And he said he wants his children to know that no matter what they do or what they say, that we will always love them and that we will
Oh,
never think differently of them. And I was like, oh, so just unconditional love. He was like, yeah, something like that, but make it sound better. So that's that's what he would say. Um, I think I just want my children to know the same thing that I knew growing up, which was essentially our CC motto, to just know God and make him known, and that everything we do as a family is for the purpose of knowing him and to making him known to others. Um,
yes.
so I would say that's William and I's mission.
Yeah.
Will we fail? Yep. But have we already? Sure. But
Yeah.
that is the goal.
But you know what? The Lord has that same thought that William has. No matter what you do or where you go, Father God is still loving you. He's there. He's not moving away. There is that unconditional love. That's really sweet, Emma. Thank you so much for sharing these traditions. I am itching to go and write yours down so that I can remember to try them out this year as well. Listeners, we hope that this has given you a start on coming up with a new family tradition, or maybe it has caused you to dust off the family traditions that you have. We are excited to have spent this time with you. It's always a joy to walk alongside you. This is a vibrant and curious community, and we like sharing ideas together. So, give us a call, give us a message, give us a click, pass this on to your friends, and we will look forward to talking to you again next time. Bye bye.